Well, I hate to be giving Ethan Klein credit twice in a week, but you got to do it. First, I want to continue to be fair and honest to say that Ethan looks good, he looks healthy, and I'm happy for him. Even if I disagree with his political takes or he's had some personal vendetta against me over the years, for me, it's never been personal. He's a very large creator, much larger than I'll ever be, with a big footprint. And so there have been times that I've criticized things he's said or done, but it's never been personal for me. He's always been unable to separate those two things, but that's neither here nor there. He looks good, and I like that he's on his grind, revealing all sorts of just terrible, terrible things and people to the internet. Now, many of you may have saw the individual who enjoys horses and very young imagery of girls. His name is Vosh. Now, his out was that, oh, I thought they were supposed to be goblins and blah, 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 blah. To me, it's at least adjacent to, I asked some questions. If you have folders full of, images of, people who look very, very young, okay? I'm not saying it proves anything. I'm not saying it automatically makes you anything, but I think it is very interesting. But Ethan also, while kind of kicking around, like, a lot of times if you pick up a rock and you see all the spiders scatter, one of those spiders happened to be internet commentator, former Socialist Party or Communist Party member, somebody who goes by the internet moniker Keefals, who is a biological man who had some surgeries and identifies as trans these days. Now, apparently, in the backlash of all of this, Mudahar from SomeOrdinaryGamers and the team over at thepublica.com have done some digging. And by the way, if you enjoy the Publica, please, all I ask is that you bookmark it, check it out, because they're doing excellent work, great deep dives, things of that nature. So check this out. So streamer once again under fire after admitting DIY hormone directory access by youths, minors. A trans Twitch streamer, I think they're really a YouTuber these days. I don't know exactly. Is under scrutiny once again after popular YouTuber put out a call for more information on his shady past. Clara Sorrenti, also known by the moniker Keefals, had previously been accused of defrauding donors and grooming minors. On February 17th, Mudahar, a Toronto-based YouTuber with over 3 million subscribers, made a post on X calling for individuals with information on Sorrenti. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that. Sorrenti? I don't know. What doesn't really matter. Mudahar's concern was primarily with claims that they had scammed his followers out of $100,000 in donations after claiming his life was at risk in the home city of London, Ontario, due to transphobic internet trolls. Now, if you remember, there was a battle between this individual and internet website called Kiwi Farms. They tried to get Kiwi Farms shut down unsuccessfully. That is a website that, maintains a lot of, kind of, it has doxing on it. So I'm not a fan of that website. Websites like it have their place on the internet. So, I'm not going to launch into some weird mission to take them off the internet. The streamer launched a fundraiser in August of 2022 after claiming he was swatted, a term referring to a weaponized hoax in which a perpetrator calls a non-existent emergency into 911 with the intention of having an unsuspected target swarmed by police. This is something that has happened to me dozens of times, and it is a serious crime in my opinion. In a tearful video on the incident, Sorrenti claimed that he was awoken by an officer, all this kind of stuff. Now, as reported in Redux in 2022, Sorrenti also blamed the swatting on transphobia, of course, and tied it to users of an online forum known as Kiwi Farms. As reported in Redux 2022, London police denied Sorrenti's versions of the event, stating that they had knocked at their front door, had been allowed inside. Nevertheless, Sorrenti went on to leverage a story to raise money to move away from London and launch a lawsuit against the police. Sorrenti also began a mass campaign with the intention of having Kiwi Farms removed from the internet. At the time, some speculated that they had an ulterior motive for wanting Kiwi Farm scrubbed, noting that the website contained incriminating allegations involving inappropriate interaction between Sorienti and minors. According to Kiwi Farm's users, Sorienti repeatedly sent, quote, kink collars and spicy photos to underage boys, as well as helped them access illegal homemade hormones. Users of the thread dedicated to tracking their claims explain how he promoted a website called Do-It-Yourself Hormone Replacement Therapy Directory. According to Kiwi Farms users, a friend of Sorienti claimed that Chloe Elsevier Solanders, also known as Bob Posting, runs this website. Joshua Moon, the administrator of Kiwi Farms, repeatedly drawn attention to the site's extensive archive of Sorienti's questionable behavior. In addition to these illicit hormone scandal, Kiwi Farms had also mockingly exposed Sorienti's alleged history in making their own type of spicy videos, where they were specifically involved in fart fetish type videos, which he reportedly didn't succeed in due to the claims from viewers that he faked his flatulence using a whoopee cushion. What? Really? I didn't know that. Members of the streaming community have similarly claimed that Sorienti of other misconduct, including using money he raised on a GoFundMe to buy drugs after he admitted to having a substance abuse disorder, and even using it to vacation in Ireland. No lawsuit was ever filed against the London police, despite Sorienti claiming part of the funds will be allocated towards that legal cost. So certainly there's some fraud there, I would say. No lawsuit was ever filed. The renewed controversy has resulted in Sorienti locking his ex account, but prior to doing so, tepidly admitted that he did sponsor DIY hormone replacement therapy resource. In another post, he claims that he would own up to the fact that he's obviously made mistakes. Now, if you look at a lot of this, you see London Free Press says probe into trans activist groping claims finds zero evidence of misconduct. So that appears to have been a lie. You also see some of these posts by Think Before You Sleep, saying just went down the Keefals rabbit hole today, and holy S, that person needs to be in jail. At this point, someone who is suggesting that none of these people are groomers and grooming doesn't exist is a moron. Both Keefals and relationship partner Bob Posting have admitted to grooming minors. Now we find this Brazilian kitchen bathtub lab called Atacono Pharma. For those of you who don't know, Atacono is Japanese for little boys. Nothing nefarious about that name. Little Boys Pharma, right? This DIY website literally does what groomers do. They market their HRT with child spice, which says, don't look at my giant whatever. Keep it out of reach of parents. Gee, what do child people, I don't even want to go down that line, but you see photos of what has been sold, and you can see, the directions, and, I guess these are, I don't know if these are that specific type of, videos, but here this person also tweeted, to all TERFs who might read this, I have assisted at least a dozen minors on getting hormone replacement therapy, cope and seethe. Here's her partner Bob Posting, it's okay, I've unironically helped like a half a dozen minors acquire bathtub estrogen, LOL. Here's a picture where there's apparently a cat hair in some of the chemicals that these kids are getting talked into ingesting. This stuff is very, very weird. Very, very weird. Surprising absolutely no one. This person says Kiwi Farms was right. I hope these poor boys sue Keefals one day for all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is nuts. It's just fiction, guys. I don't know, exactly what's going on here, but it would appear, it would appear, at least to me, that there are many lies that have been spun here about the incident with the police. All of this, by the way, none of this is brand new news. This has been going on forever. For years now, people have known about this individual and what they, like to do, how they like to procure these type of things for youngins. None of this is new. Whether or not there's any kind of criminal charges going on here, all this kind of has spun out of Ethan Klein versus Hassan Piker versus Vosh. There seems to be now. If you look at the crime statistics of the type of people who have these type of materials on their computers, is generally white males. But there seems to be also a correlation with being a communist or being a leftist and having this kind of stuff. I'm not saying though. I'm saying recently you have Vosh, you have this individual and what they're doing. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if Mudahar actually puts out any kind of video on it. He's generally pretty apolitical. He has a very large left-wing audience. I know this because anytime I comment on his thread, they're spurging out at me. So I don't know if he's actually going to have balls up here and follow through and do the video. But it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know if you think he's going to go through with it. We'll talk to you again real soon.